Hey everybody, and welcome to AniBreak, the show where we talk about the week's topics in anime, manga, and video games. My name's Jason, and this week we have something special to announce at the beginning. One, you may remember past week and a half or so, I had a post on the OtakuLife network blog regarding our hosting situation right now. And we are extremely thankful for Merc, who shows up in the chat. He also is known as Brian. He actually footed the whole bill for it. So not only is all of our domains renewed for a year, but we also have some hosting in there as well. So thank you. When you see Merc pop up in the chat, be sure to thank him. He's also gonna get a really cool custom shirt that I'm making right now. For the rest of you, I know some of you have every once in a while asked, are you guys going to be selling shirts again? Since I'm working on this for Brian, I'm probably going to post a tweet fairly soon asking if you guys are still interested. And if there's a decent enough response, I'll go ahead and post up a link to where you can buy the shirts. So, also, if you have any ideas for a t-shirt designed for OtakuLife Network, could be for all of our shows, could be just for AniBreak or From Our Mother's Basement. If you have an idea, post it up somewhere. Shoot me a link at Facebook or Twitter, OtakuLife Jason, right there. And if we get enough of those, maybe we'll throw that to a vote. So we'll see what happens. But thank you very much to Brian, very much. And if you guys are interested in t-shirts, let me know as soon as possible. But let's go ahead and move on to the news. And the first bit of news we're going to talk about today is an anime preview. They've been sneaking in here and there ever since the fall season started. And the one we talked about recently was Super Sonico, the Nitro Plus mascot. I've lost count of how many figures and official artwork has been released with this character. She's been in numerous games, but to some people, it's about time that she's getting her own anime series. We do have a preview of said anime series, and what is there to say about it? I'll keep my comments to the end, but in the meantime, enjoy. So that's a thing. So that is the first preview trailer for Super Sonico, the animation. And when you watch it, right off the bat, for those of you who aren't really familiar with Super Sonico, you may have noticed that's she's very endowed. Let's leave it at that. And if you haven't seen any of her figures, well, you kind of have an idea of what to come in this series. For me, at least the production quality is quite nice. It's by Studio White Fox, who actually worked on Steins Gate. You have Kenichi Kawamura, who was a storyboard artist and an episode director over at Madhouse, jumping over to help with this series. It has a decent voice cast. Obviously, I'm guessing there's going to be something regarding like probably a character album will be released alongside the Blu Rays and DVDs. Probably a bunch of maybe your web shorts or OVAs. I'm not sure, because the girl is designed to, for lack of a better phrase, sell sex, basically, as with most mascots like that. So obviously, they'll push as far as they can go for as far as broadcast quality, and I'm sure with the OVAs they'll go a little farther than that for those fans. For me, it's funny, I enjoy my fair share of fan service, but when a character is devised around just the plain simple idea of fan service, for me, there's a point where it gets a little too much for me. But that's just me. I know there are people out there who are absolutely infatuated with Sonico, and more power to them, and they'll probably enjoy this. We'll find out sometime in 2014 when this, if this series is worth following for those who are not the biggest of fans of the mascot. Moving on to Hayao Miyazaki. It was very sad to hear that The Wind Rises is actually going to be his last feature film animation. It hasn't been ruled out that he'll maybe host or at least direct or produce some short anime films from Studio Ghibli in his retirement. But you would think that if you're going to retire, you're going to spend some time relaxing and not really doing anything stressful or within time constraints. No, Miyazaki decides, you know what? I'm going to jump in and draw my own manga. And so the NHK had a special showcasing what Hayao Miyazaki has been working on so far. His new work is, his new manga is actually based on the Warring States era. It's going to be a samurai manga, and we're getting our first look at what to expect from it. And as we get closer and closer, when the camera zooms in, you start to realize that there is a ton of detail in each individual frame. Now, this is true for most manga works, even most comics that you can find online nowadays. But you would look at this and think of, okay, this has to be someone in like their late 20s, early 30s working on 9-to-5 gig trying to make this work. Not someone who's retired. So it looks like actually one of the longtime producers of from Studio Ghibli, Toshio Suzuki, mentioned in an interview that Miyazaki's probably going to go ahead working on this manga even though he has not been paid a manuscript fee. At that point, you look at this and go, okay, this is going to be a work of art, it's going to be a work of love. And you already know that just having his name attached to this manga, it's going to sell like hotcakes, at least for the initial print. Beyond that, that'll be up to the quality of the story, the quality of the art. But we already know the guy's a genius at writing great stories. We can take a look at these pictures and go, okay, the guy can draw outside of just, animated feature films. It's gonna be interesting. My question is, how long is it going to take before an official translated version hits the United States? I'm hoping not long. Crunchyroll, I'm looking at you. You just started your manga service. Jump on this. You have money now, so jump. One can hope. All right. Moving on to Ghost in the Shell. I've been, at the beginning, a little hesitant to appreciate the new variation, Arise. But after watching it, I've just been completely infatuated by it. I'm so thankful that there's more Ghost in the Shell. It is my favorite series of all time, bar none. And thankfully, with part 2 of the 4-part OVA scheduled to be released in Japanese theaters November 30th, so in about 10 days from now, and about a month later, it'll be available on DVD and Blu Ray. So I'm looking forward to this. You can go online right now, or after the show, I should say, and thankfully, Production IG has actually posted the first 8 minutes of the second OVA with English subtitles available, so you can watch it and get an idea of what to expect from this this next iteration. I'm already enjoying Ghost Whispers more than Ghost Pain, the first episode. I'm really looking forward to see what this one actually has in stock. A side note, actually, for Ghost in the Shell is that their website decided to change from a .com to the .jp domain. So, in order to celebrate that, normally one company would go out and, create a bunch of banners, a bunch of artwork. Well, Production IG decided, you know what, we're going to create a little 3 to 5 minute web episode just based on the transition from .com to .jp, and it's actually really well done. And we finally see this iteration of Motoko, doing a full web dive, and she actually has a new style when she dives, and this is a much younger look in terms of the clothing. I do like the dual tone hair color. That actually worked really well. I really enjoy it. Now it makes me wonder though, with this new iteration of her, I guess you can call her net dive avatar, will there be a figure of this? Because if there is, we first in line to pick this up ASAP. But the web episode does not have subtitles, but you can still get an idea of what's going on. I'm sure there'll be an official subtitled version sometime in the near future. On a side note, at a special presentation, they released a couple different images and a new wallpaper, which has now become like the new wallpaper on my phone because it's just kind of random. The Loji Motoko. I'm finding myself really enjoying the Logikomas, And this little hybrid avatar is just so random. I was like, and that's going on my phone right now. So you can find more information online. Just search for Ghost in the Shell Arise, and you will be able to find that no problem. Speaking of webisodes, let me phrase that. Ghost in the Shell Arise is not the only series right now that's actually hosting their own webisodes. There is another series that just released their first webisode. I'm talking about Kyokai no Kanata, or Beyond the Boundary. Now, I'm thinking, okay, you're probably going to have chibi versions of the characters, do some cutesy thing. But then I get to an episode, I think it was episode 5 in the series, and it went from, hey, we're magical beings hunting down other magical beings, to we're going to be idols. This came out of left field. I was definitely not expecting this whatsoever. I enjoyed it because it was just so random, and the fan art has just swarmed the internet. It's been kind of insane on that. So it comes to no surprise after watching this episode that the web series is going to be featuring the characters in super deformed chibi variations in an idol trial setting. So yes, you're going to have the chibi versions of your favorite characters, moe as can be. Let's leave it at that. Obviously doing dance numbers. The dance numbers are actually in CG. That's kind of, I was not expecting that. And of course they go out and have, let's call them misadventures for right now. So... like I said, the first episode is available online right now. The second installment of the Idol Trials is going to be available on December 2nd. So you guys can look online for that, and I'm totally expecting Nendroids of all 4 characters to be available ASAP. All right. This one came as a surprise to me because I've been a big fan of Soul Eater for the longest time. I enjoy the manga. I even read a little bit of the offshoot manga called Soul Eater Not. And I was always wondering if that's going to get like its own web series or an actual full-blown series. Well, apparently the voice actress of Maka from Soul Eater confirmed on a radio program on Nico Video, or NicoNico.com, that the spin-off series itself, what I'm talking about, Soul Eater Not, is actually going to get a full-fledged anime series, a full-fledged anime adaptation. Fan-freaking-tastic. Now, the idea behind why it says not, it kind of ties back into the original series, with the original characters where they were the EAT students, which stood for Especially Advanced Talent. Well, the not students are... let's call them normally overcome targets. They are not the best in terms of fighting quality and abilities, but you know what? They keep on moving forward. They have to have side jobs, so they are getting their own side series. I'm quite sure that characters from the original series will make appearances in this, and I'll be very curious to see how this turns out, because I absolutely enjoy Soul Eater, but this one will definitely have a much more lighthearted tone than the original. So, no word yet who's going to be in it, who's producing it. I mean, we just got this little tidbit from the voice actress on a radio talk show. That's all we got. But yes, it's been confirmed that's actually in the works right now. But that's all going on over in Japan. What about stuff over here in the States? Well, we've been talking for the past few months about how it seems like it's becoming more and more of a regular occurrence that theatrical length anime movies are actually making its way to U.S. theaters, and I am a big fan of that. We know that in just a couple weeks we're going to have the third Monica movie, Rebellion, available in U.S. theaters just all over the country, actually all over the world, Canada, Mexico, Europe, everywhere. It's all over the place. But that's not the only movie that's making its way stateside. We have a few others actually on its way. G-Kids is actually going to be screening Production IG's A Letter to Momo for sadly 1 week only in North Hollywood. That's basically to qualify for the Oscar nomination. I actually enjoyed Letter to Momo. I actually watched it already. The idea Production IG had going into this was they wanted to make a date movie that would appeal to those who are not necessarily otakus. So it's a serious drama. It's really enjoyable, but just because it's hand-drawn animation doesn't mean it's going to be all fanciful. So it's actually quite enjoyable. You guys can find it on Blu Ray and DVD fairly easy, but for 1 week, it's going to be available in the Lamel North Hollywood 7 Theater. So I'm looking forward to that. The other ones you see in the middle is Patama Inverted, and this was actually the new movie by the creator of Pale Cocoon and Time of Eve. So this is his next work. I'm looking forward to checking this out. G Kids is also going to be distributing this. I'm really thankful for this. We don't have a really specific time frame for this, only that it's going to be available in North America in 2014 or later. I'm really scared of that or later bit. So, I mean, we already know it's going to be released in other countries, Germany, Korea, Taiwan, the UK. So it can't be that far along in terms of waiting, but here's hoping that'll be the early half of 2014. And we've already talked about Funimation bringing Ava 3.0 to US theaters, but they also made an additional or an addendum announcement to it that the Blu-ray and DVD versions, the official ones, will be available for sale in the US starting February 18th. So yes, they always claim, the date is always subject to change, but when you already have dates out for the theatrical release of a time frame like January, it makes sense that the following month it's going to be available on DVD and Blu-ray. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. There's been a couple opportunities that's passed so far for me to check this out in theaters. As a caveat to that, some theaters will be showcasing the new English dub, while others will be showcasing the Japanese dub with English subtitles. You'll have to check your local theaters to find out which version they'll actually be screening. But to see it on the big screen is always a treat anyway, so you guys want to do that regardless. But we have movies in theaters. Awesome. Anime in theaters is amazing. What about anime at home on your TV, on your big screen? Well, you already have Toonami, and Toonami is fantastic. I'm thankful that it's back, and it's been doing very well. Well, for the month of December, they've already teased that there's going to be a number of anime movies that they're going to showcase rather than their standard lineup of series. And I'm kind of surprised. There was actually a few that they announced that I was not expecting from the usual lineup. So the 4 they're going to be showcasing on Toonami in December is going to be Akira. I'm curious what version of the English dub they're going to showcase, because there's a couple of them. And I've been hearing that the newer one, while the names, the acting is a little bit better, the translation is not as good. So it'd be curious to see which one they go for. After that, they're going to showcase Summer Wars. I still absolutely adore that movie. After that, you have Full Metal Alchemist: The Conqueror of Shambhala. I actually saw this one in theaters. This was actually a treat. You guys will be very happy to watch that, and I'm sure I'll probably do some live tweets along with you guys online, so we'll all enjoy it. I'm sure we're talking, I'm guessing starting at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. That's the standard time frame for these movies. So the 4th one, I was actually surprised they're going to showcase. Trigun Badland Rumble. I remember watching Trigun back when it was on Toonami back in the late 90s. So to be able to see the one-off movie back on Toonami is actually a real treat. And if you guys haven't seen that yet, you can find it on Blu-ray for like less than $20 nowadays. So you guys are going to want to check these out. This is for all the month of December. Don't forget that in January, Toonami is actually going to start up with the Naruto Shippuden, I think it's how you say it, series. They're going to replace the original Naruto that's showing uncut. And they're also going to be simulcasting Space Dandy. That's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so we've covered anime in theaters. We've covered anime on your TV. What about anime on Blu-ray? And that usually jumps to Kickstarters. And we've been talking about this one for a while, the Bubblegum Crisis Kickstarter. This one started about a month ago, going by Animego. They want to, if anything, actually rescan, if they can't use the Japanese version, of the original Bubblegum Crisis. Not Tokyo 2040, but the original Bubblegum Crisis. And bring it available on, right now, just Blu-ray, not DVD, but just Blu-ray to the States. And the response has been phenomenal. They've actually been very upfront with the where the money's going, which is always great. I mean, half of what you put in gets used for actual production expenses. And there's been a couple goals that they've already achieved, and they've actually added a third one that I'm quite positive they're going to hit. So right now, the campaign is at $126,773. If they get up to $130,000, and mind you, they only have 3 days left, they are going to master a third Blu-ray disc. Now, what's going to be on that disc? That's up in the air, because this can either mean they can either add additional content, or they can increase the quality of the HD scans. So I mean, you'll have less episodes per disc, but it'll be of a much higher quality, and I'm all for that. So you guys can check this one out. Head over to Kickstarter, search for Bubblegum Crisis, and within the next 72 hours, donate. To receive the Blu-ray, just the bare minimum, it is $50 right now, but what you're getting out of this is you're getting your money's worth. Completely, you need to support this. All right. What about a con announcement? We haven't done any convention announcements in a while. Well, because we're kind of in the off season at this point. Not many major conventions are going on, during the late fall, early winter. But there's a couple actually coming up in January. I mean, you have Anime Los Angeles, ALA. Then you have the newcomer. You have Otakon Vegas, their spin-off convention. I'm hoping that I can get to go to this for a number of reasons. I have some friends there who work with Otakon, and plus it's in Vegas. I want to see how they're going to take the core experience from Otakon, which is pretty unique. I mean, if you go to Otakon, then you go to, say, Anime Expo or SakuraCon, you kind of have a very different vibe to it. It's very cool. But the other reason why I want to go to Otakon Vegas is the guest lineup. They've been stacking their guest lineup like crazy. It's going to be incredible. Let's just mention a few right now. First off, on the left, you have Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. She is a phenomenal voice actress. She's not only voiced some of the most iconic roles in anime, at least in the United States, but also directed a number of series. To list her achievements would take 3 hours by itself. Just by her. I'm looking forward to hopefully have the chance to talk with her. I mean, she was even able to direct Sam Jackson and Ron Perlman when they worked on the voicing for the Afro Samurai game. So she has plenty of stories she could probably possibly tell. In the middle, you might not notice the avatar, but that is actually for Nobuhiro Watsuki. He's also more so known for being the mangaka of Rurouni Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin is by and away one of the best manga out there. I really enjoy it. So, if you are a fan of Rurouni Kenshin and you want to meet the guy behind it, you're going to want to go to Otakon Vegas. I actually met Watsuki during his first appearance in the United States at Comic-Con all those years ago, and was actually able to get his autograph on Volume 1 of Rurouni Kenshin. So, if I go, I might take that with me just to share the experience again. And on the right is a person that was just recently announced, and a main reason for a lot of people to go. His name is Masahiro Ando, and he has been working in the anime industry since the late 80s, and been in everything since the Ghost in the Shell movies, Cowboy Bebop the movie, Ava. He also worked on storyboards or directed an episode of like FMA Brotherhood, Hanasaku Iroha, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. He also worked on an original film called Sword of the Stranger, which was a really fun movie to watch. It was actually from Studio Bones when he worked on. It actually won several awards. He's going to be there. If you liked any of his works, including like Blast of Tempest or Kanon, you're going to want to go there, say hi to him, say you've changed my life, because I know that's, to some of you, that's exactly what happens. Some of their other guests are a little outside the anime sphere, but they're just as unique, and I'd be very happy to talk with them. I mean, yes, you have Richard Epcar. I mean, he's in the anime industry. He has, 350 roles with, voicing roles. He's in everything. They also have the original Green Power Ranger, Jason David Frank. He's going to be there. They actually have a couple sumo champions that are going to be there. That is going to be interesting to talk to. People have joked to me all the time, Jason, you should do sumo. Why? Because I'm fat? No, there's a lot more to it than just being that. And I would love to talk to them about it. The entire listing is available at otakonvegas.com, and you can get your tickets and prep for Otakon Vegas ASAP. It's at otakonvegas.com. It's going to be January 3rd through 5th at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I hope to see you guys there. All right. Let's move from anime and conventions to video games, because we've talked about this upcoming video game for a while. It's kind of rare for a game like this to actually make its way stateside legally, and I'm very happy this one is. It's called Aquapazza, and it's finally available for download on the PlayStation Network for PlayStation 3. So what launches is not complete without a launch trailer, so let's go check that out right now. That's right, Aquapazza is now available. Now, it is a download-only title as far as I'm aware on the PlayStation Network. It is for PlayStation 3 and allows you to battle multiple characters from almost the entirety of the Aqua Plus games. All the visual novels, the dating sims, etc., etc. Tears to Tiara, Uto Ware Mono. I always forget how to say that last name. And much, much more. So you guys want to check that one out. It is a tad on the pricey side for a download at $29.99. So it's $30. But I'm sure, given the fact that we're coming right into the holiday season, I'm sure there's going to be a sale eventually. So you might want to hold off on that if you cannot wait. Or if you can't afford that right now, you might want to hold off on that for a little bit. And also go back over and play another game that's currently available on a deal right now. I'm talking about Skullgirls. I have been a huge fan of Skullgirls ever since it was initially announced so long ago. It's currently available on PlayStation 3. It's now available on the Steam store. If you buy it on Steam, it's usually about $15. Right now, if you go, to the Humble Bundle store, humblebundle.com/store, it's actually on sale for the next, I think, few days for $9.99. So $10, you get an amazing 2D fighting game. And who knows, maybe we can play online a bit, because I play it all the freaking time. Okay. Few more things before we wrap up, and we're going to talk about some figures real quick. You may remember that there was a contest to design the next Snow Miku. This is an annual variation of Miku that usually happens, at least with an Android version, if not like Figma or the actual PVC figure. The finalist was picked a little while ago. The voting was actually back in May of this year, so it's been in the works for a while. But now we finally have a look at the official Nendroid version for Snow Miku 2014. And I have to say, it's actually quite detailed, especially that base. The base is finely detailed. It looks very nice. It kind of has a feel of, as a tie-in to the Magical Mirai concert that happened earlier this year. Do I want to pick this one up? Probably. I'm actually surprised that, as big a fan of Vocaloid as I am, I actually do not own a single figure, Figma, Nendroid of Miku. Ia, Luca, of course, but not Miku. So I may need to pick this one up. No word yet when it's going to be available for pre-order, but I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Moving on to something from Kotobukiya. We showcased this about a month ago. This is Kotobukiya's variation of what they're calling the Fairy Dance Lifa from Sword Art Online. Kind of blows away everything else out there. And I told you, once we found more information regarding pre-order or a color or a painted version, we would show you. And exactly what we're going to do right now. I am blown away by the detail, the quality of this. I mean, yes, it's Kotobukiya. Yes, they're high quality. This is going to be 1/8 scale. And it is currently available for pre-order. Just look at that. That face is amazing. I love that they got just the right amount of transparency in the wings as well. Now, like I said, pre-orders are available right now. She is a little bit on the pricey side, about 9,200 yen, so just shy of $100 US. But you have some time, so if you pre-order her now, you can save up because she's not scheduled for release until next April. So you have some time to save up. Though, I have to say, as much as I spent in the past on figures and whatnot, part of my collection, I can't bring myself to spend as much money as one person did for a Gundam model, a Gunpla. And I know they can go for hundreds of dollars, really detailed ones. I mean, yes, part of the what's the word I'm thinking of? Part of the glamour, part of the what draws people to Gunpla is the ability to get a model kit, a base model kit, and get as detailed as you want, as you can, and just increase your collection that way. There's a way of saying, I made this. It's a part of me. Well, there's always people out there who will make said Gunplas and then sell them for ridiculous amounts of money. That's what brings me to this one. This is, I'm going to say the full title, so this is from Bandai. This is the Master Grade 1/100 scale RX-93 New Gundam version Ka. When the model kit first came out, it was about a little over 7,000 yen, about $70 to $75. Well, a certain fan bought this this kit, made a few modifications, and gave it so much detail. I'm really surprised that this was all done by hand. The detail is extraordinary, which also makes sense of why this thing went for so bloody much. It was posted on Yahoo Japan auctions, and it went for a staggering 926,000 yen. That's a little over $9,200 for a single Gunpla. Now, I have to say, the detail is incredible. The quality of the figure is epic. I would love to have something like this in my collection. I do not have the skills to make something like this on my own at this time. But yeah, over $9,000. Make your over 9,000 jokes right now. But yeah, fully customized, fully painted, and completed Gunpla for that much. Now, granted, what you're getting for that is very, very nice. Is it worth that much? Apparently it is to some fan. So there you go. Some fans are willing to pay exorbitant amounts of money for their hobby. So there you go. But if you can't make this, well, if you're in high school, say, and you can't make a model like that, but you have a bunch of friends with you at school, you want to make something together. Well, you can make, Gundam models, or for your high school's culture festival, you can make a giant replica of a Rex, an REX from the Metal Gear series, a Metal Gear Rex. The idea behind this is it's actually from the Chiba Prefectural Keio Technical High School. This is a high school that basically focuses on machinery, construction, electronics, and a bunch of the students got together to create this scale Metal Gear Rex as part of a focus for their upcoming culture festival. I can't remember doing anything nearly as epic as this in high school. I mean, yeah, composed some music, and that's about it, but nothing as really cool as this. Why can't we do stuff like this more in United States? Need to have more of that culture over here. Not going to happen for some time, but still, that's an impressive feat for a bunch of high schools. That's kind of awesome. Okay, to wrap up this week's episode, let's get to the question of the week. Now, last week, Prinizawa posted the question: if you could ride any Pokemon, which one would you choose? And I have to say, I kind of felt out of my depth on the answers, because I received several answers and I actually had to look them up because I haven't played Pokemon in years. So, like, people were so what was it? There was a Gyarados, I think it was, that one put him in. An Aerodactyl. What was it? Was another. Prinny's was was hilarious. How of the response, which was, I would ride a Tyrantum because it's a mother effing T-Rex, which goes well with the video that Prinny posted last show. Honestly, I have to go old school if I'm going to answer this. I would just go with Charizard, just because 1, dragon, 2, breathes fire, and 3, badass. Let's leave it at that. But for this week's question of the week, I wanted to tie it into the Super Sonico news. And so this week's question is, what mascot or mascots need their own anime series? There's already been a couple out there, Super Sonico being obviously the latest one. And when I'm talking about mascots, it doesn't have to be from Japan. So if there's a mascot for a brand over here in the States or somewhere else in the world that you think would be great to have their own anime series, let me know. All you need to do is send your reply either Facebook or Twitter at OtakuLifeJason, and I'll mention the best ones during next week's show. Also, if you have an idea for a question of the week, let me know also at Facebook and Twitter, OtakuLifeJason. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm glad you guys hung out for a bit. I'll let you guys know about some possible changes for future episodes. I actually just received a job offer. I'm starting on Friday. I had an interview for another job on Friday night, so we'll see how those two work out. But depending on shifts, I will probably have to move this show, be on the same day, but just back a little later than normal. I will let you guys know. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook, OtakuLifeJason, and I'll let you know at the moment I find out what my shift is. And we'll still have fun regardless every single week. And just tell your friends about it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Stay tuned for post-show. Get your video suggestions in for the Moment of Zen in the chat right now. And for AniBreak, I'm Jason. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.